This episode may contain content that could be distressing or objectionable to certain listeners. Please refer to the episode show notes for details. Discretion is advised. Hello, listeners. Welcome to Your Movie, My Movie with Dan and Steve.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Steve. This is a podcast where one of us picks a movie to watch and we discuss it together. In this episode, we're talking about one of Dan's picks, the 1982 movie Losing Ground, starring Sarah Scott, Bill Gunn, and Dwayne Jones, and was written and directed by Kathleen Collins. We will be talking about spoilers, so if you want to watch the movie first, now's the time to do so. But before we talk about the movie, Dan, who would you recommend this movie to?
Thanks for asking, Steve. I would recommend this movie to anybody who feels like they feel too little. I don't know.
Oh, that's a very interesting and very interesting take.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good one, but it's what came to my mind.
No, I mean interesting in a good way.
Okay.
But yeah. I didn't see the film through that lens until you mentioned it.
So Stephen, who would you recommend this movie for?
Well, thank you for asking, Dan. I would recommend this movie to those who want to see the kind of feature-length film I think Dan would make.
Interesting. Okay.
And yeah, interesting in a good way.
Oh, okay, good. Because interesting is a non-word, Steve.
Yes, I know. I bring it up all the time. I've mentioned that every time since was that your pick or Sierra's pick?
That was my pick.
That was your pick? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think about that. Since you've introduced me to that movie, I think about it every time that word. I hear that word.
It's kind of contagious in that way.
Absolutely. So Daniel, before we get into really talking about this movie, are you ready to do your 2-minute summary?
I am. I'm ready.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1, start.
Okay, so Sarah is a professor, a black professor at a college. She is some sort of language arts professor, so like maybe philosophy or literature. And all of her students, or many of her students, are infatuated with her. She has a husband who is an artist, a painter. And she has a student who wants her to act in his senior thesis film. Her husband, Victor, decides that they should go to a house, like a vacation house, once the semester ends. And so they do. And basically Victor picks up another woman, and she becomes his muse.
1 minute.
And he paints her. They kind of have some sort of relationship, and eventually Sarah gets a little jealous, but not before Sarah decides to act in the senior thesis film with another black man who is educated and who seems to understand her. So, her
30
husband
seconds.
gets jealous of the other guy, and she gets jealous of the other girl, and an argument happens, and yeah, and then the film ends with the final shots
15
of
seconds.
the senior thesis film where she shoots her metaphorical man.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands down. Yeah, that was a fairly good summary. Yeah. That sums up the plot fairly well. What made you decide to pick this movie for Black History Month?
Well, I was trying to decide between a couple different movies, like a blaxploitation film, like a Pam Grier movie, or uh, maybe a more modern black film. And then I was like, I've always wanted to do this film for the podcast, just because I feel it's very obscure and independent. And I ended up choosing it because, it's not just a black director, but it's a black woman director, and the cast is almost entirely black. And it's about, a black woman's life. It's like kind of like a scene from her life, and her struggles. So I thought this was a very down to earth pick for Black History Month. And that's kind of why I picked it.
Okay. Yeah, down to earth is definitely a description I would apply to this movie. Especially like with the cinematography, which I love, by the way. It's a very unpolished movie, but I say that to its credit. You know, like I think unpolished is the best way to describe it, and that unpolished aspect of it really gives it a feeling of realism to it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like this is a gritty movie, because other filmmakers would use the same kinds of equipment and techniques that was used in this movie to make theirs gritty.
Yeah.
But this isn't a gritty movie. It just tries to be a real movie, a genuine movie. So that's why I think unpolished would be a better descriptor for it.
I agree. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's almost like a home movie quality to this movie that really, really suits it.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of feels like a student film, which, is both,
yes.
sort of a good thing and a bad thing.
Yes. Yes, and we'll get to that as we talk about it.
Okay.
But I do want to say, like, overall, I did enjoy this movie.
Heck yeah. I thought you would find something to like about it. So I'm glad that you did.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do you want to start talking about it?
Well, well, I don't know. What are the specific things? Maybe we can get into the specifics about why you chose this movie for your pick for the month.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's a movie that I had never heard of. I was just
when did you watch this for the first time?
Probably like 2021 or 2020 or something like that.
Okay, a few years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago. I saw it on the Criterion Channel, That's the only place that I've ever heard about this movie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have very many like reviews on Letterboxd or um, anything like that. So I kind of just I think if I remember right, that day I just wanted to click on something and try something out, just watch a
Mm-hmm.
movie, and this movie was I just chose this movie for some reason, and yeah, it turned out very interesting. I think my mom was like in the room, going in and out of the room while I was watching it, and
Mm-hmm.
she had some thoughts on it too. Um, but it was just like it was a it's a movie that is ambitious in a way. Um, and in its like subject matter and like thesis almost, it is a complicated, ambiguous kind of movie. Um, and it doesn't really serve you up neat answers or um like a super clear moral or anything like that. Um
Okay.
like there is.
Um.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mhm. Well, I was just going to ask, what do you find? What ambiguity do you see in the movie?
Well, it's this movie is about relationships. And
Yeah, absolutely.
uh it's about gender and art and passion. Um
Mm-hmm.
and so it's interesting because like so basically her husband Victor, the artist, is kind of, I don't know if you'd call it a loose man or sort of an infidelitous, I don't know if that's the right word, man. He
Mm-hmm.
sees other women sometimes. Um
A philanderer.
Philanderer, yeah. Um and she, Sarah, the main character, has a discussion about him with her mom, kind of towards the middle end of the film. Um
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, I've always known that there's other women. Um Let me see if I can find it in my notes. Yeah, there've always been other women, or there've always been women. And her mother asks, and the very idea, how does that make you feel? Lifts himself up, puts himself down into some other woman. And then she says, the actual sex doesn't bother me. Victor has sex all the time with a color, a room, the way the light falls across a building, all that private ecstasy. Um, and she kind of like changes the subject a little bit and just says, why can't I just go lose control? I think actually that's all the same time period in their dialogue. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like, she lets him do this and he's a free spirit and she doesn't usually have a problem with it. At least that's what it seems like. This is our only view of it happening uh directly. Like we only see it happening this one time in the film. Like we don't know how the other times with other women have happened. So we kind of have to just assume on the other times, but um she's not like demanding that he stop or um demanding change from him is exactly. um Really it seems like, so because she seems to somewhat accept that, maybe not accept, but Yeah, well, she says this the actual sex doesn't bother her, like him having sex with other people. But um, followed up shortly with, why can't I just go lose control? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like she's not allowed the same freedoms as he is. And we see that because um she brings the person that she's kind of interested in, this sort of uh this out of work actor, and
Mm-hmm.
who had previously studied in the ministry. um he's very
He
charming, very
wears
intelligent. Go ahead.
he wears a purple like small top hat and a big purple cape.
Yes.
Um
Yes.
and speaking of capes, that's what a cape is. That is what a cape is.
Is that
There's a long story about that.
okay? All right.
Anyway. Continue. Yeah. He's I was just pointing out, he wears a top hat, a purple cape, to the library where he meets her.
Yes.
So just right then, he studied to be a minister. He became an actor instead. Arguably, those are two very connected professions, depending on how you look at it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so you know right away this guy is kind of a character.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of a character, but he seems to be honest or open, or like yeah, kind of honest and open in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he is theatrical, he seems like he is genuine.
Yeah,
But he's definitely like a charmer.
absolutely.
So anyways, she ends up bringing him, his name is Duke something. And the actor is the black man from Night of the Living Dead, is that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dwayne Jones. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one of his other movies. He's not in a ton of movies, but this is one of them.
Okay.
And I thought you would get a kick out of that.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that as I was watching it. But yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the actor for Duke. And basically she ends up bringing Duke. So she ends up bringing Duke home to their summer house that they're renting, and Duke meets her husband Victor, and Victor's painting mentor, and Victor's I guess summer fling, like the woman, his muse that he is interested in
Yeah.
at the time of the summer. And
Yeah.
She's
Can we
yeah, go ahead.
can we talk about that part
The
for
meeting?
a little bit?
Yeah.
How he met. Yeah, his the fling, the muse's name is Celia.
Yeah.
And the way they met. So so the reason so what's going on is you mentioned this before. Victor is Sarah's husband.
Uh-huh.
And he wants to go he wants to rent a house, I believe in New York City. Am I right about that?
It's a little outside the city somewhere.
Okay. And then spend that time painting. Whereas Sarah, she is a literary professor. She needs to be around books for her research on ecstasy. And so they rent the summer house. And so Victor takes a huge sketchbook. And so he's walking through the outer neighborhood of the city.
The Puerto Rican outer
where
neighborhood.
yeah, Puerto Rican neighborhood where he sees all of these pretty young Puerto Rican women,
Mm-hmm.
you know, leaning on their windowsills, sitting on their stoops, talking. And he just goes up and draws them, sketches them. And then he goes by a lake where he sees these guys banging drums.
Uh-huh.
And Celia's there dancing. So he just goes right up to her and dances with her, and that's how he introduces himself to her.
Yeah.
So he's kind of trolling the Latina neighborhoods for pretty young women to be his art subjects.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. The guy who's like, I'm into photography, and he's like, can I take photos of you?
Want to come to my studio?
Yeah, you attractive woman. Would you like to remove some of your clothing so I can take some photos of you? Please?
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you take that jacket off? Here, I got here's a bikini you can put on. Yeah.
And it is interesting too, like that, because there's the aspect of the male gaze. We get actual camera perspectives from his eye line. Like, we see him walking, and then we're kind of in his shoes walking down the street, looking at people, looking at women, looking at cars and stuff. And it's an interesting, very direct male gaze illustration, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and there's kind of there's a lot of that in those sequences, because I think he does it twice, and I'm like, okay, is this slice of life, or is this just filler? Like,
interesting.
It can be one or the other depending on your idea of art. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Liverpool in that way. Although Liverpool, it just leans into that.
Yeah. Well, I think also, this is me trying to defend it. It shows the way in which Victor moves about the world. He moves so freely, and he just walks up to people. He just walks up to people's gates. He just decides to start dancing with people. He's extremely free.
And there's a specific scene later in the movie about him wanting to walk up and dance with people.
Are you talking about the scene with everybody in it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's like the climax of the movie, I think.
No, the climax of the movie is the pool, right after the pool scene.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So what's that part we're talking about? We're talking about the dancing scene. That's probably one of the most famous parts of the movie. I watched like a person talking about it on the Criterion channel, because there's supplementary materials. I haven't watched Kathleen's interview. I plan on doing that sometime though.
Okay. Well, speaking of the director, very quickly, Kathleen Collins. It's a shame because let's see, she did 2 feature-length films before she passed away in 1988 at the age of 46.
Oh wow.
Yeah. In fact, that's one of the reasons why this movie got on the Criterion Collection. It's because her daughter kind of pushed for this movie to be preserved and then put out there for people to watch it.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Yeah. And you go.
I didn't realize she had passed away so young, and I knew she'd only directed 2 films, but I wasn't sure why. I didn't look into it. But wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Passed away from breast cancer,
Aw.
apparently. Yeah. Um, but yeah, like, I mean, it's a shame because, like, this kind of goes back to something that you kind of mentioned before. Not only is she a woman, she's also African American, and like that obviously carries a lot of baggage. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's like my film professor talked about in film studies, where you have the civil rights movement, which is for Black people, and then you have the feminist movement, which is for women. But the default is that the civil rights movement is actually just for Black men, and the feminist movement is actually just for white women. So African American women have had to work very, very hard for their own liberation, for lack of a better word that I can come up with at this time.
Yeah, yeah. They're
And
kind of like, in the pie chart of minority, they're uh, well, I don't know that there are less Black women in society than Black men, but their their status, whether intentional in our nation or not, is probably lower than sorry, I'm getting an alarm. Lower than Black men, just because of the patriarchy, I think, and the
yeah,
social order that we have in the U.S. and most of the world, unfortunately.
yeah. So, going back to what you're saying about the Sarah Rogers character,
Uh huh.
um, about how she can't be free in the same way that her husband is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the reason why. It's like, if you're an African American, you have to work twice as hard as a white person. If you're a white woman, you have to work twice as hard as anybody else. And so if you're an African American woman, the math is you have to work 4 times as hard just to be considered the default. And so I think that might be what Sarah in the movie is kind of feeling.
Yeah, I think it's that, but it's also her personality type.
Yeah.
Because it's mentioned, in the movie that she's kind of contrasted with her mother, and her mother is an actor, and she is a very free spirited type of person. Like um, she's a woman who's more interested in men than God, and she has another quote, um, that it basically is like she's playing a part of like a humble um humble mother character, who has to be solid with fortitude and like be there in the backbone of the family structure,
Yeah.
when and she has to be like humble and pious and like a Christian, and basically it's like the perfect woman, almost the perfect expectation of womanhood from
The trope of the African American matriarch,
right.
who has all these struggles but is strong enough to overcome them, no matter how tragic they might be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
um
Uh,
and let me find the quote.
I think I have the quote.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to play a 60-year-old Negro woman who thinks more about men than God.
yeah, yeah.
Is-
And it's like, because they ask her, what part would she like to play if she could play any role, and that was her answer, and her answer was like, I'm not a snob, I wouldn't do Macbeth, I would do that, which kind of also tells you a window into the filmmaker's perspective. And this is me reading into it, but I think, the filmmaker decided to not make, an action film, or they made an academic drama about a woman with her own struggles, specifically about men.
Yeah, and you know what's funny, Dan? My recommendation was that this is a film that you would make, but I'm going to be honest with you talking about it. This might actually also be the kind of film that I'd make based on the kind of stuff I've been writing.
Yeah.
Character dramas with a focus on romantic struggles.
Yeah. So I could see that for sure, because I've read some of your 10-minute plays, and they have that sort of conflict that is not clear cut necessarily, and it's just about two personalities kind of butting up against each other. In this film, I think Victor is clearly the asshole.
Absolutely.
Her husband Victor, but it's not like he's like the ultimate villain or anything like that.
No.
And it's not saying that like she's a beaming pillar of morality either. It's kind of like, just kind of what is she feeling with this relationship struggle? It's kind of like, we're walking around in her shoes trying to get her perspective.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I thought that quote from her mother was insightful, because I'm trying to bring it back to what we were talking about earlier, which was her personality type is more of a centered, calm, academic, cold personality. And it's mentioned a couple times throughout the film. But they contrast that with her mother, who is an actor, who is interested in men, who talks freely of sex, and who talks freely. She's a lot more of a free spirit than her daughter.
And then there's her husband Victor, who is a free spirit as well. Duke, who's a free spirit as well. But it's also funny, and also all throughout the movie, she's doing some kind of, I think she's like researching to write a paper, like an academic paper about experiences of ecstasy. Primarily religious ecstasy, but also other kinds of ecstatic experiences too. And you describe her as kind of cold and centered and all that. But there's a really funny, but like, I think the only one who sees that in her is her. Because at the beginning of the movie, she's teaching a class. And then all the other students, get dismissed at the end of class. And there's this one guy, and he goes up to her and he's like, "You're so alive and terrific. Your husband really appreciates you."
Yeah.
Okay. And then a little bit later on in the movie, Sarah is talking to a female student. And when they get done talking, she says pretty much the same thing. "You're so bright and lively and an inspiration." And she, the girl student, asks about her husband too. So like, she's got, not just male students trying to mac on her. She's got female students trying to mac on her too. So, I think that's the movie trying to tell us that everybody else sees in Sarah what she does not see within herself.
Well, I think those are great observations. I will point out too that her husband does not seem to see her as a free spirit. We get him describing her face as cold and sort of stoic. I'm trying to remember exactly what he says, but he's always trying to push her to be more free-spirited and to worry less about books and things. But, really also, I think this is to your point, which is that he's not appreciating the type of free spirit that she is.
Yeah.
She's free in her mind and her thoughts, but not.
Whereas he's more free, like sensually, like in the senses, like experiencing the world, which are two different, things.
Yeah, they are. They are. Yeah. But yeah, so I just want to say also that her husband also does not really see her, in addition to herself, her husband and herself, kind of, if that makes sense.
It could also be a thing where Victor is so free-spirited that free-spiritedness overshadows her own.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah. I'm trying to think. Okay, but I wanted to read the quote.
Okay.
Let's see. It's one of the final quotes I wrote down. Okay. All right. So she calls her mother, or she's talking to her mother after she has a blow up at Victor, and after Victor has been a real asshole to her. And she says, "I'm on shaky ground." Her mom says, "That's not a feeling you like." And Sarah says, "Order, that's what Victor loves about me. There's no chaos anywhere." And her mother says, "That's the quality in you that even I admit to counting on." And so she's kind of like, she is free-spirited and she is passionate, but she's also about business. She gets her papers graded. She works on her papers. She's professional, and she has her stuff together, basically. And Victor is very chaotic and kind of ADHD, and he's just gotten a painting sold, but I think he's had to depend on her a lot. I don't know. I'm kind of spitballing now and rambling, but I do think that quote was important.
No, you're right. There's a trope called the cloud cuckoo lander. And that is a character who is, a little insane, very flighty, free spirit, kind of does whatever they want without, regard for the consequences. They speak without a filter. And audiences tend to love that kind of character. But another trope is the cloud cuckoo lander's minder, which is the guy who kind of shepherds the cloud cuckoo lander. The guy who manages things for them. And that is a very difficult role to do for someone. And so it seems like, amongst all these free spirits, if Victor and then Sarah's mother, are the cloud cuckoo landers, then Sarah is kind of forced to be the minder, because nobody else is going to step up and, do those responsibilities.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it. I've never heard of that. That's crazy words, but I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. I dig it.
Yeah.
And I think it's very fitting in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trying to think of she does try to eventually she does try to make decisions to be more free with herself. Like she accepts her student's proposition to act in his senior thesis film.
Yeah.
Which is how, she continues to grow in friendship with Duke, the guy who she randomly met. By coincidence, she is now acting with him on this film.
Yeah, and a lot of deja vu watching those scenes.
Oh yeah, a lot of film school deja vu for me and you. Yeah.
Trying to get your professor to act, trying to get anybody to act. There was one scene where they're getting a tilted down shot of like a school tower or something like that. And I wrote down in my notes, I got that same kind of shot. I had to get that same kind of shot. It was of a church steeple. And it was for, what's his name? The bird watcher.
Yeah. Kenny.
Kenny. Yeah. And I had to be the focus puller for that fucking shot. So I had to keep that fucker in frame as the camera was tilting down. No, not in frame, but in focus. I had to keep that fucker in focus as we were tilting down, and I couldn't even see the fucking monitor. So I had to do it just by the focus puller part, the device.
Did you use the bullwhip?
No, I couldn't because because it was like just so crowded. Because the camera was like down on the street. Okay. And so I had to crouch down, and someone else was the cam op for it.
Yeah.
And so he's looking at the monitor and stuff. So there's no room for me to look at the monitor. And even then, it's so small. So I just had to, do my best. I dotted the wheel.
Oh, you used the grease pencil?
Yeah. I used the grease pencil, and I just, wrung it. Did my best.
I'm proud of you, Steve. That's
all I fucking could do.
I don't think hardly anybody uses those grease pencils, but they are very useful.
I mean, I had to.
Yeah.
I mean, well, they should, but they don't.
Yeah.
But I paid attention in film school, so yeah. I got accused once of why are you so by the book all the time? And I'm like, it's not that I have a problem being by the book. I can go off the book when I need to. The thing is that I'm not always, off the book. Off the book is not my default. I go by off the book when the book no longer serves me.
Right.
But when the book serves me, I use it.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about her ecstasy, her like studying ecstasy for a bit?
Sure. She is reading as much as she can about different types of ecstasy, ecstatic experience.
Well, the kind of thing that I just wanted to mention about that is like, theme.
Right.
She has to research ecstatic experiences because it's like, lady, you're not getting any of your own.
Yeah.
And it's only when, oh my god, it's only after Victor, her husband, brings Celia to the house and introduces Celia to Sarah, that she's kind of like, you know what? If that's what my husband's doing, if my husband is going to spend his time here, with another woman and just be so blatant about it, that's when she decides to go back to the city, to be in her student's film, with Duke. and Victor is not happy about that.
No, he is not. He's like, when are you coming home? Where are you? Who are you with? Well, it doesn't say who you're with, but basically. And then she brings home Duke, and I love how she introduces Duke to Victor last.
Yeah.
And Victor is just staring him down, just like kind of mouth open, like glare, disbelief, but also anger at Duke. And yeah, it's just
it's at this point in the movie I'm like, man, just get a fucking divorce already. Just get a fucking divorce.
For real.
You don't have any kids. Yeah. It'll be okay. And even if you did, it would be better for the kids if you divorce than if you stay together and just pull this stupid shit just to hurt the other person.
Yeah. Just that's reminding me of the dancing scene, while they're having that party. So it's.
Oh yeah, man. If you want to talk about the dancing scene, you can. I don't, because it's so. it's just so awkward, and cringe. I have trouble watching cringe. It's why I only watched The Office. Just once. I did a full watch through of The Office once, and that was it, because it was just so much of it was cringe comedy, and I can't handle that.
That's fair. That's valid.
But oh my god, the shit that gets pulled in that scene, it's just goddamn.
Yeah. It's ugly. I have to mention it real quick because I think it's important.
Okay. Yeah.
Close your ears, whatever you have to do. Basically, Duke, which is Sarah's love interest, the tall actor from Night of the Living Dead, Duke, Sarah, Victor, Sarah's husband, and Celia, which is Victor's muse and Puerto Rican love interest, and Carlos, Victor's mentor. They're all 5 hanging out at the vacation house. And they're all having like this, dance party kind of thing in the living room or something. And I think it's in Victor's studio. And so they're all kind of like taking turns dancing. Duke is dancing with Sarah, and Victor is dancing. Well, no. Victor's mentor, Carlos, is dancing with Celia, and Victor just comes in, and he's kind of drunk, and he's just like, he just wants to dance with Celia, but Celia doesn't want to dance with him at the moment. So he goes over to his wife, Sarah, and, is like, here, let me show you something. And he starts to try and dance with her, and she starts to try and participate. And then he stops, just glares at her, and just like says, I always forget that you can't dance. And it's like,
well,
yeah.
Well, let's not forget, Victor also has a glass of wine in his hand throughout the scene. Yes. So, it's not just dancing, it's also, the vino having its effect. But what is it they say? Like, wine brings truth,
Well, it's also, dancing in this film. There's a lot of dancing in this film, and it's all, pretty metaphorical to sex, I think.
Yeah. As dancing usually is.
Yeah. But But he does that just to be cruel.
Yeah.
And that's when, she kind of like, I think the switch clicks in her head of like, my husband is an asshole, period, end of story.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I have to start heading out pretty soon. So let's cover the climax real quick and then, wrap up the final points.
Okay, yeah. After that great scene, well, at the end of the scene where they're dancing, Victor's like, you know what I want to do? I want all of us to sleep under the stars tonight.
Uh-huh.
And then cut to it's morning the next day. And you see 5 sleeping bags on the pool deck.
Goofy looking sleeping bags.
Yes. All lined up next to each other.
And Victor wakes up.
Uh-huh.
And immediately is loud as fuck and jumps directly from his sleeping bag into the pool and tries to get everybody else to join him in the most annoying way possible, which is just like the worst type of person to wake up next to.
Yeah, especially when you're hungover and you've been sleeping outside.
But everybody does jump in eventually. Cecily jumps in, Carlos jumps in, and Sarah goes inside the house to get some clothes or a towel for Cecily because
dry clothes for Celia.
For Celia, thank you, Celia, because Celia is cold. And in the meantime, Duke also jumps into the pool. And then Celia gets inside of Victor's sleeping bag because she's cold. And Victor gets out of the pool and, starts flirting with her, whatever, kind of getting on top of her.
He tries to get inside the sleeping bag with her.
Yes.
And like, he's full on like aggressive about it. And she's like not taking no for an answer.
Yeah, and she does not want him in the sleeping bag with her. Or anything. She wants to be left alone, but he is not. Yeah, he's not taking no for an answer. And at the same time, Sarah comes back with clothes for Celia. And basically loses her shit at him, but also in the most justified way ever. The most justified lose your shit ever, which she just basically starts saying, how dare you whip your dick out in front of me and in front of everybody. Like, you can't keep your dick in your pants, you can't. You're so
kind of a very similar theme from our last pick, what we watched last episode, Used by You, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and basically she says, don't you take your dick out like it's some goddamn paintbrush, like it's artistic. And basically she's like, I have nothing to take out. Maybe that's the problem or something like that, which I didn't quite know what that meant, but it's interesting. But yeah, he does kind of treat sex like a right of his and an artistic expression of his that he doesn't consider anybody else in. Like it's not he doesn't really even see Celia as very much of a person. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Cecily? Celia?
Celia.
Yeah, Celia. He doesn't even see her much of as a person. She's more an object, a muse.
Yeah.
And
very narcissistic. of him.
Yes. And I think he sees Sarah in a little bit of the same way. Sarah is more of a person to him, but she's not who he wants her to be.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was I gonna say though? God damn. Oh yeah. So whenever Carlos, his mentor, first comes out to his summer house, he's like talking with him about artistic theory, and then he sees Celia coming down the walkway towards the house, and he calls Carlos over and he says, "You see that?" I underlined that specifically because it's how you refer to an object, not you see her or you see them or you see that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. Yeah. So she blows up at him, and then she storms off to shoot the rest of the film with Duke and her student.
Yeah.
And the film is a very metaphorical film. It's very abstract, avant-garde. Film student type shit.
I mean, you say it's metaphorical. It's like blatantly the plot. Yeah, like the film doesn't have like a lot of dialogue, I don't think.
No.
So I think it's kind of meant to be like a movie without dialogue. But there's a great saxophone music played during the filming, and so it's obvious that saxophone music will be the sound to this dialogue-less, purely visual short film.
Yeah, and
what's funny about the student film is how much it mirrors Sarah's life, because her and Duke, are a romantic couple. But then there is a Latina who dances and kind of steals Duke away. And then at the end of the movie, they're filming the final scene, which is the Latina and Duke dancing, and then Sarah pulls out a gun, and at this point, Victor is racing to the set, probably to apologize to Sarah to try to get her back. And so so Victor witnesses when Sarah brings the gun up to Victor and, pulls the trigger.
To Duke. Yeah, she pulls the trigger at Duke, which is metaphorically Victor.
Yes, exactly. And, that the plot, how the plot of the student's short film, how that mirrors, Sarah's life in this movie. It's on one hand, it's very on the nose, but on the other hand, I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards. Like I think that's kind of brave of Kathleen Collins, to have been, that kind of that blatant about it.
And I don't think it's a crazy, like watching it, it's definitely something that a student filmmaker would do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think it's on the nose, but it doesn't make you hate the film for it.
No, not at all. Not at all. No. I think it's a bold choice.
Yeah. And the last shot of the film is Sarah weeping as she is quote unquote acting after she has just shot her scene partner Duke, and he has died.
Who is Victor?
Yeah, who is Victor?
Who is Victor's character?
Yeah. And Sarah's really crying, and you can really see her feeling a lot of emotions. That's basically the end of the film. I think it cuts to black after that.
Yeah, cuts to credits.
So yeah, very interesting movie. Very very personal movie, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Question, Daniel.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie?
No, I have not.
Okay. I want you to guess. Don't look at it now. But I want you to guess how many its rating with critics and then its rating with audiences.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming that it's going to have a very high critical rating because it's,
Okay.
a black academic film made by a female black filmmaker. So I'm going to say it's like 95 critic score.
Okay.
Audience score, I'm going to say
you said 95 critics. Okay.
Audience score, I'm going to say is like 80 maybe.
80?
Yeah. What's the scores?
Why do you think 80?
Just because it's a little slow and it's not the most accessible movie. It's a little bit dry in a way.
Okay. You were almost dead on about the critic score. It has a 96% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
But you were fucking off on the popcorn score.
Oh, really? What was
43% of audiences like this movie?
43?
Yeah.
Wow. That's rough. Yeah.
I mean, but I get it. Like, I understand that. Like,
yeah.
Like, this is really, this is a movie for people who like cinema, not just movies. And as well as I do, especially, with our encounters with some of the other film students who don't get that difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it, it's not a popcorn movie.
No, it's not. It's, I wrote a newsletter for our podcast, talking about the differences between types of movies. And I said, kind of like, I compared it to food. And this is very much a eat your greens and vegetables type of movie.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It's not a candy movie. Sure. You don't eat this when you're depressed and you want to be distracted from life. You eat this when you want to try and learn something about someone else's experience and the world, I guess.
This is what you want to watch when you want an empathy machine, as Roger Ebert described movies.
Correct.
Yeah.
Before you go, a special thank you to our bestest friend of the show, Brian. Thank you, Brian, for supporting Your Movie, My Movie. Now, if any of you would like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/yourmoviemymoviepodcast or leave us a review on whatever you're listening to us on. Thank you for listening and thank you for your support.
Okay, well you gotta go, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think we talked about all we want to talk about this movie. Normally we're gonna I would like to start plugging our stuff at the end. But we can do that next time.
Okay. Yeah, or you can tack it on at the end if you think of some things.
Okay, whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, one more thing I did want to say in the credits, the song, the chorus of the song is "Love does her thing in funny ways," which I think is, also fitting.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.